Now, what's my connection to Grant? Well, I'm actually his great. Hello, my YouTube friends. Today we are going to be updating a very cool coin collection, and that is, of course, my United States commemorative typeset. Now, I've been working on this collection for way too long with showing virtually no progress. And by the way, if you don't know what a typeset is, I've done a bunch of videos on the topic. You can check one out in the card over here. But essentially, it's trying to collect one example of every single type of coin in a particular set. In this case, it's classic commemorative half dollars. So the ones starting in 1892 to 1893 with the Columbian Exposition, going all the way through to 1951 to 1954 with the George Washington Carver issue. Now you can see I only have a few examples in my collection. I've been doing this collection for years. I've got the Columbian Exposition, which, by the way, is not in great condition. I should eventually swap out. I have this 1920 to 1921 Pilgrim, which is really beautiful, but I paid retail for it at a coin show, and I kind of regret that. I generally like to get these coins through wheelin' and dealin', and if you've been a fan of my channel for a long time, you know that that's what I do. I got this 1925 Stone Mountain issue from buying a collection. I bought a collection from somebody, and it was in there. And then I believe I got these two, the Washington Carver and the Booker T. Washington. I believe I got those using Whatnot credit. And by the way, that's how I got all the stuff that we're going to be adding today. I mean, take a look at this. We're going to be adding a ton of stuff, and I got all of this from using my Whatnot credit. And I did a whole video on the shopping spree I did. By the way, if you don't know what Whatnot is, it is an incredible live video auction app in which bidders and sellers come together in real time to buy and sell all sorts of cool collectibles. Obviously, I'm mostly into coins and precious metals, but if you collect it, it's on Whatnot. And if you use my link, whatnot.com/invite/silverpicker to download the app, you get $15 in Whatnot credit to spend on anything you want. And when you get credit, so do I. That's what I use to buy all these coins. And man, did I get a lot of it because Whatnot is so popular. And by the way, you don't have to wait to use your credit. You can go straight to my Whatnot shop and grab yourself a Walking Liberty silver half dollar for 15 bucks, meaning you use my link, download the app, get your credit, and walk away basically with a free silver coin. So you definitely don't want to sleep on that. Anyway, why don't we just get right to it and start adding these coins? Now, you'll notice that every page is the same, right? It all has slots for half dollars with the name of the issue right below it. Except on the first page, there are two slots that are different. One is large, one is small. Well, those are for the 1893 Isabella quarter and the 1900 Lafayette dollar. So, spoiler alert, I got both of them. Now, they're in pretty rough shape, especially the Lafayette dollar, which you can see obviously it's very worn, but even in this worn shape, I paid almost $200 for it. I think I paid about $200. And this one, while it looks pretty good, it says X jewelry. So you can see on the reverse, there is some solder residue on there. Eventually, I will figure out a way to try and take that off. For now, I'm just gonna put it in the album as is and not worry about it too much. But basically, as I'm saying this, I realize I don't really know what these are actually commemorating. I think Isabella is just for Queen Isabella, who sent Columbus on his expedition, which is what the Columbian Exposition is all about, commemorating Columbus's discovery of the Americas. So I think that that's what that is. But Lafayette, I'm not sure. Can somebody put in the comments what this is actually commemorating? But anyway, let's get right to it and start putting these coins in. So I'll just give you a nice little view so you can see the Isabella quarter. This is the only quarter in the series. All right, so the way I do it, every time I make a video like this, I always point out, when you are removing coins from a 2x2, make sure to be very careful not to let the staple scrape the coin on the way out. So you wanna make sure to bend those edges back and take the coin out very carefully. Look at that. Wow, that is really nice. Even the reverse, where it's got that solder residue, it's not damage per se, it's residue. So anyway, let's put that coin in there. All right. Let's put that in. Bada bing, bada boom. Our first one is in. And because it's in the same area, let's crack this baby out. I would like to eventually upgrade this, but look, see, that's the thing. That's why my channel is all about sort of beginners and, sort of like the everyman's collection. I'm not some crazy collector, right? I'm not like the typical YouTube numismatic influencer where I've got like endless money and endlessly beautiful coins, right? Now, this is still a beautiful set, and I am absolutely happy with with what I think is a pretty massive coin collection. But it's an everyman's collection. This is highly attainable. None of this stuff are things that none of you watching could achieve, right? All of you guys could achieve what I have achieved. So hopefully this video serves as a bit of inspiration. Nice. All right, let's get that in there. Got my little cotton glove, which I'm not actually wearing, to tamp it down. And boom, we finished our first row. Pretty cool. All right, so why don't we just see if there's anything I have here. I know I got the main, so let's get the main in there. This is the main. Now, I think I did pay $145 for this. Again, all of this stuff I got through my Whatnot credit, so I didn't actually pay anything out of pocket. So whenever there's something personal, and I have a personal attachment, I will let you know. So Maine, I've never lived there, but I have been there. I've gone camping there several times with my dad, but my connection is that my dad actually went to college in Maine. So Maine has always been like a major part of like family lore. My dad went to Husson College in Maine, now Husson University. So 1920, Maine, boom, we in there. Anything else? Missouri? Okay, we don't have Missouri. We do have Alabama. Let's take a look. Really nice mint luster on that. By the way, I'm curious to hear if you guys are collecting commemorative halves, and if not, what are you collecting instead? Put it in the comments. All right, there's Alabama. Nice. Alabama. Alabama, Arkansas. Never mind. I'm a YouTuber, not a singer. Grant is next. I've got the Grant over here. Now, Grant is a really cool figure in American history because he's extremely interesting, extremely controversial in many ways, and I definitely recommend you guys read up on him if you can. Now, what's my connection to Grant? Well, I'm actually his great, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not related to Ulysses S. Grant. But what is interesting is that when I was in 5th grade, I did a project on him, and I visited Grant's tomb in New York City, and I made a video on it. And pre-YouTube, it was one of my earliest videos. When I was a little kid, my dad had a big video camera, and he came with me, and we made a video for my school project.
Wow, he's beautiful. The Grant's too.
So, we got Grant over there. Let's pop him in there. Boom. Man, we are filling this page up. How do you like that? All right, and next up, we do indeed have the Monroe issue. And by the way, a lot of these commemoratives, I'm realizing, look very similar in the sense that they have two men and they're in profile, sort of stacked like that. You can see here, we've got the Monroe Doctrine. You can see here it has all of North and South America in there. And it's interesting, it says Los Angeles. Can somebody explain to me why it says Los Angeles down there? What does that have to do with the Monroe Doctrine? Was that founded based on the Monroe Doctrine? Anyway, we're going to pop that in there. I don't have any connection to the Monroe Doctrine, although my cousin lives in Los Angeles, so once we establish that, we can figure out what the connection is, then I have a connection. See, you can see here, the Alabama and the Monroe are very, very similar. All right, do I have Huguenot? No. Lexington and Concord? Yes, I do. Man, we've got a bunch of the early ones. Anything that I didn't have that was a reasonable price, I bid on, right? And that's because these are not so easy to come by. You have to sort of search around for these. This is the Battle of Lexington and Concord. Very cool. It's the sesquicentennial of the Battle of Lexington and Concord, so that's a 150-year anniversary. Nice. Get that in there. Man, we actually have a collection now, right? We still have a few coins to add, but we already have a collection. Look at that. That's the first page. All right, let's see what we've got on page 2. Nothing on Vancouver, but I do have the sesquicentennial. So this is the 1926 sesquicentennial of the United States, right? So before we had the sesquicentennial of the Battle of Lexington and Concord, so the sesquicentennial of the United States is the 150-year anniversary of the United States, which is, of course, 1926. 1776 to 1926. And it's got the Liberty Bell on the reverse. It's a nice coin. That's a nice coin. I'll tell you what my favorite is at the end of the video. Oregon Trail, that's one that I really want. I did not get that this time, but I really want that. I had a chance for Vermont, but the price was just too high, so I said no. Hawaii, Maryland, Texas, Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone I really want. I'll explain that why another time, but I did not get that. All right. Connecticut, Arkansas, Hudson. Hudson I want the most because I'm from New York originally. San Diego, Spanish Trail, Rhode Island, Cleveland, Wisconsin, Cincinnati, Long Island. Here we go. Our first one to add over there is the Long Island issue. Again, you can see a bust of two men looking off into the distance. This time they are facing right as opposed to facing left. E pluribus unum, liberty. And it says Long Island. Now, I'm not from Long Island, but I am from New York. So that is still close. All right. Added that in. No York County, no Bridgeport. So this one we added 2, which is not a lot, but we had none before. We had 0 on this page. So now we have 2. And on the last page, we don't have any of the, we do have San Francisco. Take a look over here. San Francisco, we've got a bear on there. And then the reverse is my favorite part. The reverse, we've got the San Francisco Bay Bridge, the Oakland Bay Bridge. Really beautiful. Look at that coin. I love that design. I think that that is so cool. I love the bear on there. As you know, the flag of California has a bear on there. That is sweet. That is really sweet. So that's going right in the corner over there. And we've got one more coin to add. What will it be? What will it be? It is Illinois. Illinois from 1918. Did I miss that? Did I miss that? Did I miss that? What do you know? I missed that. First page. We got another one from the first page. So this one has President Lincoln on the obverse. And a beautiful eagle. This is the one that looks the most like a standard American half dollar, right? It has a president on one side, and it has an eagle on the reverse. Beautiful coin, though. This one is the only one I got not from Whatnot. I bought a closeout from another coin dealer. I spent like $10,000 on the collection to resell, obviously, but in this case, this is the only piece that I decided to keep for myself, and I am very happy I did. It's all from profit. I still didn't spend any money out of pocket on any of this stuff, right? That's my goal when I'm collecting this stuff. My whole point is to show you guys that as a young numismatist, as a numismatist on a budget, you don't have to have a ton of money to collect really nice coins. You can find creative ways to do it. I do it through buying and selling collections and then sort of siphoning off the pieces that I want to keep for myself, or using the profits from those deals to trade or buy other coins, or trading with people, or of course, like I said, using my Whatnot credit, which I earn from spreading the love about Whatnot. So anyway, let's take a look. Let's take a look before we sign off. Page 1, we are only missing 4 coins total. We're missing the Panama Pacific, Missouri, Huguenot Walloon, and the California Diamond Jubilee. But we added so much beautiful stuff. Now this is really looking like a collection, am I right? The second page is a little bit sparse. We only have 2 coins, but I am in love with that Long Island. And on the final page, we only added 1, but we do have 3 coins total on there. And we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but we added San Francisco. And yes, if you couldn't have guessed, the San Francisco is my favorite one that we added today. And what are my next goals? What I want most are the Daniel Boone. Man, do I wish there was a Davy Crockett. He's my favorite frontiersman, but I'll have to settle for Daniel Boone. And then the next one is New Rochelle, because I grew up in Westchester, New York. So those are the 2 that I want the most. But until then, we've got a lot of work to do. This is a lifelong venture, and it took me a decade to finish my United States regular typeset. So who knows how long it's going to take me for this, but I'm hoping we finish it much faster than in a decade. So anyway, if you like videos like this, you got to hit the subscribe button. I make a video about coin collecting or precious metals investing every single week. You don't want to miss it. Throw me a like if you don't mind. I appreciate it. It helps me out a lot, and it takes you really just like a second. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, leave it in the comments if you guys are working on a collection like this. What do you guys like about it? What are your favorite issues? I can't wait to hear. Anyway, I've got a lot more awesome stuff coming down the pike, so stay tuned, and until then, Silver Picker out. If you think that videos like this are important for the public, consider supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/silverpicker and get access to our private Discord server, truly the most welcoming and easy place to learn about coin collecting and precious metals investing.